with the cutie nonsense, there's this channel called Lotto with Crowder. He's actually a comedian, and he's been talking about a lot of this stuff
Right,
from
right,
from his standpoint, which he's nor left nor right, but he's learned that with the backlash that he's been getting, he's been realizing that he's more conservative than anything. But he's been covering this type of stuff for years. It's just now that we're starting to catch up with the backlash. So
right, right.
that's how Netflix is able to get away with what they've been doing for about a good 4 years now, since people aren't paying attention.
Yeah, there's been a few shows that I mean, like that. What is it? Something eight. It's about these eight individuals that have individual powers and they're like connected. I can't remember the name of it. Good show, but then they started getting a little out of hand and getting uncomfortable. So I was like, why? Like I mentioned, I have no problem. I treat people for what they are, for who they are, not what they are. If you're gay, that makes you happy. That's fine. But when you start like, all right, why do they have to have their own genre of shows? Like I said, that's your thing, but why impose it on us? Like I was saying, if you're gay, you're gay. If you're LGBTQ and you want to push it on me, then I have a problem. The same thing like when like we said yesterday, you're a macho man, I got a problem because we know you're a man. Why you got to push it on people? And you're right. For the last 4 years, they've been getting out of hand with some of this stuff, and now with this, like I mentioned yesterday, that Cuties movie,
Yeah.
it's a pedophile's wet dream. To be honest with you, I told my kids and my wife that I was gonna watch it. I just out of curiosity, I had to skip through most of the scenes because I'm like, these are little girls, man. What the hell was the director thinking? And it's like, as a dad, as a parent, and as a decent person, I can't be behind this. Even though I saw some comments, just want to bring this to light. No, and me as a parent, I would have never had those actresses do that movie. Like how many guys are sitting there? How many pedophiles are sitting there enjoying this nonsense? That's all I kept thinking. I'm not behind it. Yesterday, I was disgusted. You know, I had to, like I said, I had to watch some Sugar King, in his comedy just to, get my mindset right because it was just like I couldn't.
Yeah, it's ridiculous what we don't realize how much we actually support bad behavior due to leniency of acceptance. It's one thing that we're being inclusive because we accept people for their backgrounds, whether they're gay or straight, homo, or in its correct term, homosexual sexuals, which they prefer people of their same sex. Gay is not even the correct definition. The same thing like queer.
Exactly. Exactly.
Same, not the correct definition for being gay. It's supposed we can be queer at moments because we're quirky. We're nerds. Nerds tend to be quirky. But what I'm what I'm trying to get to is that when we allow people in that atmosphere play with our language in such a way that's in no way delightful. I'm all for when people play with language to, for funny anecdotes. Like
Exactly.
like Ebonics. Has been doing it for years, which that was a controversial thing when it was accepted into the dictionary. But that it played its part in us accepting when people play around with changing definitions. No, but we need to stop supporting things because at surface we're so lazy to check the facts in its full depth and pay attention to those that really do a good job at doing good research. I think Louder with Crowder is a great platform in which they're sometimes so ridiculously apologetic that even people who don't care for PC culture sometimes might get touchy. But as long as you can stick to the context, which is how they get away with so much, then we can start moving forward, which it's just starting to pick up and happen.
No, I agree. I agree. And like I said, I'm still, I'm still a little ignorant with some of the social issues that are out right now, but I think I'm intelligent enough to know when enough is enough.
Yeah, I just had to interject. Julito and I, when we did the podcast, we were talking about that from our neighborhood, as long if it smelled like shit, it looks like shit, mean it has to be shit. You can smell bullshit a mile away.
Exactly. Like, unfortunately, I wish I had the time to sit and do the research and stuff, but it's pretty, I'm pretty busy and stuff like that. But, like you said, you look at something, it looks like shit, tastes like shit, smells like shit, and, 99.99999% of the time, it's shit.
Yeah.
And this is where we're going. It's like, come on, man, we gotta stop. We gotta stop at some point, you know. That's like, when we were raised, there were two sexes, male and female. If you're homosexual, whatever, you know, that's, either male homosexual or female homosexual. Not like now you have like 20 different sexes. It's like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? But when you try to, when you try to impose your beliefs on me and I don't agree, then I have a problem. That's the way I look at it. It's like, all right, I respect people's beliefs, and I don't impose my beliefs on anybody. If somebody talks to me, I listen to them and I listen to what they got to say. But when it gets to a point where it's like, all right, dude, where's this ending? We're gonna accept child pornography?
That's what sucks about this is that since people are starting to wake up now, it's gotten to the point that even indirectly people are supporting the so-called mostly peaceful protests, which is just a slick way of saying that, yeah, they're gonna loot, they're gonna kill, and they're gonna steal, which they have been doing, and get away with it due to the fact that we're so lenient about what is it, defund the police and acceptance of that they have the right to protest, which they do have the right to protest, but
yeah, but not the right to hurt people and steal and to destroy property.
it's not what they're up to, unfortunately. Like I'll give you a brief example. I was watching this footage of this black man that was part of Black Lives Matter with dreads, and I don't know if it was a black individual that was straight or homosexual or transgender, but went up to a couple that were much older. I mean, elderly. You could see that they're retired, just hanging out on outdoors. Hey, let's get out. Let's go out to eat. So he comes and starts heckling them. Little by little, big crowd starts forming around them. One of them, this middle-aged white lady, grabbed one of their drinks and just downed it right in front of them. And it's like, what are these people really up to? That's not protesting.
No,
That's
it's not.
tyranny. And this is where it all comes down to. Leftist ideology at this point, it's progressive tyranny. They're outlandishly being forceful. I remember which now we're no longer in contact. This homosexual individual, he was talking about, oh well, if anything happens at my job, I can always like contact Antifa and have them start a protest with the LGBTQ, and then they'll shut up. It's like, is that really your option? How about you listen to what the other person has to say and get
Exactly.
better at presenting your own argument? Settle things amongst ourselves. That's how we have vocabulary. We're not in the jungle. We're not lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
Oh my! I don't know. It's just getting like, you know what it is too. With all this COVID thing, people have all this pent up energy from being locked up that they're just acting the fool. Take that energy and do something positive. Why you gotta, like with this George Floyd stuff. It started off as as a right, as a why you had to do that. Then all of a sudden it just ballooned up to hurting elderly people, destroying your own community, looting and this and that. It's like, okay, so what are you actually doing? Are you trying to help the cause, or are you just helping yourself and using it as an excuse?
Oh, you mean like how Black Lives Matters has a lot of people involved that are pretty much registered sex offenders and pedophiles and ex-cons and whatnot, and all they're really doing is receiving a paycheck for them so-called mental issues, and then funding. I'm not even gonna go as far as to what political side they're on, because it's evident what side they're on. They're funding themselves for their nonsense. It's a corporation. If you go into their page and read their manifesto and see where their funding is going to, that account will lead you straight to a corporation. That has nothing to do with minorities, has nothing to do with the poor neighborhoods, which the truth is, all this bad behavior gets supported is because people that really have money are on the left side, and they support it because they want to see poor people burn themselves, because they can't tyrannically take over them like Hitler did.
Exactly. No, you're 100% right, and it's sad that people are ignorant enough to fall into this.
I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists.
I heard in Indiana, there was a Black Lives Matter rally or something like that, and some guy yelled out Black Lives Matter, and this lady, she said all lives matter. Her husband was Hispanic. Why did he have to go and shoot her? She didn't disrespect anything. I think all lives matter. It's
That's
like,
right.
why you got to get to that point? It's just I don't know. It's different from when we were growing up. So it's so different. They're talking about yeah, you got to be accepting. You got to be no. It's like why even in schools, they're trying to put LGBTQ in schools. It's like, I understand, you be accepting, but why do you have to, if the teacher's the teacher, regardless. I had homosexual teachers, and they were nice. I had all kinds of teachers. Well, why do you have to like make it a thing where now you have to impose LGBTQ onto the kids? Why?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because in high school, the choir teacher, he was gay. Like, he was flamboyantly gay with his mannerisms. Like, you could tell that he couldn't help him. But here's the deal: he had respect from everyone, whether you look thuggish or you look Hispanic, or you look white, black, whatever your background was. He spoke to you in the same fashion. If you sucked at singing, he's gonna call you out, and that's where it lies. We respect people with high levels of skill. That's the best way to accept some people and start realizing this can break boundaries, and we can accept it, because not only do you have a great skill, you have great discipline. That's the content of a person's character, in which we can all relate to.